G'day, Stu here from UAVfutures, back with another Sunday question and answer video. I know this one's been 3 weeks since we did the last one, but life's pretty hectic with full-time work, UAVfutures, and also looking after my baby daughter. Anyway, enough rambling about what's going on. Let's jump in, because what this is in the question and answer segment, you guys drop a whole bunch of comments down below, a whole bunch of questions, and then I respond to them in the next question and answer. And this is one of my favorite ways to interact with you guys, so thanks so much for everybody who's put comments down below, because I really appreciate it, and it just feels great to sort of connect with you guys on that same level, because I'm just like you. I'm just a pilot who, you know, just an FPV nut, and I just want to share this with you guys. So thanks for sharing all your questions. Anyway, let's jump right in and look at some of the questions. So the first one, and I'm just going to apologize straight up for all the names because I do butcher them all, so let's just jump in, and I'm going to do like a mass apology to everybody who I mispronounce your name. So I'm just going to rattle it off once and see how we go. So, Balusky Malik, that's probably a bad one to start on, but he's saying, would you rather bring your $99 build to the field or the Eachine Wizard? I would say if I could take, I think the Wizard is better than just the plain $99 build. But if you do some of the upgrades, you know, it doesn't, maybe like another $20 or so worth of the upgrades, like the FPV camera and the flight controller, I would definitely pick the, well, I don't have the $99 build anymore, but I would definitely pick that over the Wizard build, because the Wizard, you've actually got to pay someone to put it together. That's what you're sort of doing. And you can get better components if you build it yourself. Oh, now my phone's going off. Excuse me. Okay, this is my wife. She's ringing. Listen to this in the background. Anyway, I forget where I was up to, but yeah, pretty much if you pick that $99 build, I think with a few upgrades, it is going to be better than the Eachine Wizard. Rightio, moving on to the next one. So this one's from Dylan FPV. G'day, Stu. I'm just wondering, do you worry about battery sag in hard flying and big punch outs? Not really. Like, you know, you might get a bit of sag, but just smash those batteries as hard as you can. Get some of that, you know, that's what it's all about. I abuse my batteries a fair bit, so I don't worry about the sag too much. And sometimes you can notice it on like an old battery or a really low C battery. But I would say just fly them as hard as you can. Moving on, this one's from Flo Rent. Hi Stu, love your channel, thanks very much. Quick question, do you break in your lipos, and can you explain why? So I think Joshua Barbwell did a great video on this. I'm sure I'll try and link it down below, but he just found it was absolutely useless and like didn't really make much of a difference whatsoever if you broke them in or not. So yeah, I'd say that's a myth. I don't do that. There's going to be a few battery questions in this one actually. I pretty much get the batteries out and smash through them straight away. Moving on, we've got... this one's from Ruben Russerman, and I'm going to actually leave a link down below to his channel too, because I've checked out some of his videos, and it's great to see somebody who's just starting in the hobby doing some really cool vlogs. So definitely go check out his channel. I think it's only got like 20 subscribers or something like that, but I'm going to give a little shout out to him. Go stop over and say hi, because I actually enjoy his videos. But his question is, if you could travel anywhere in the world to fly and money or time wasn't a problem, where would you go and why? Thanks for keeping us entertained. So probably there'd be two things I want to do. I want to fly like some of the wonders of the world. Imagine flying like some pyramids or the Great Wall. I think I've answered this question before. Some really, really cool, exciting places, you know, some natural places and also man-made. But then I think I'd love to go somewhere like flight test, and the other place I want to fly, I guess the second part, I want to connect with you guys, so I would love to go somewhere and like some big meets, or maybe like when the drone worlds were on or something. I'd love to go and not so much just fly, but just to hang out, connect, talk shop, talk FPV, and just meet a whole bunch of the community, because it's a little bit difficult in Australia because we're sort of so isolated, so far away from the US, and I know there's such a big community in the US, but yeah, probably somewhere in the US I'd like to go where there was a big event on, where there were heaps of pilots and we could just talk FPV all day long. Lewis Ortsitz, what's up Stu? I love your channel, thanks very much. Besides props, what part would you say you break the most? I'm going to say this part's, I think the thing I break the most is FPV cameras. So when a hard smash or something goes wrong, I think the cameras are such a sensitive piece of technology. Sometimes I think in most of my crashes, if something's going to break, it tends to be the camera, which kind of sucks because it's also the most important part. So, you know, always try to protect your camera. This one's from 415 Byron. How long have you known Grumpy Trev, and where did you meet him? So I've known Grumpy Trev probably coming up on a year Yeah, happy anniversary, Trev. But yeah, I met Trev. He actually contacted me just like a lot of you guys did, sent me a message through YouTube or through Gmail at uavfutures@gmail.com. Sent me a message and he said, Stu, I think I actually fly around some of the same places in your videos. You know, do you want to meet up for a fly? And, you know, I knew one person at the time who was flying FPV and I was like, sure, the more pilots, the merrier. He came and he was just such a cool, chilled out dude, so easygoing, but he also didn't take much nonsense either. He's really straight up, you know, I really got on well with him, so, and we've been like great flying buddies ever since. So it's if I can't fly with Trevor on the weekend, it's always so much better when he's here. I'll drop Trevor's channel down below too, because I know he reads a lot of these questions as well. So definitely go put some questions on his channel. Red 5 FPV. Hi Stu, what do you think of the larger racing quads, the 1000 millimeters plus? Are they the future? Are they faster? I'm going to say no, they're not faster. Are they the future? Quite possibly. I think when big companies like Intel or Xbox or, you know, some of those bigger, larger drones, the Freedom class, I think it might be called, some of those bigger ones, if they can do some racing with that, I think that's going to help this hobby because it's great to, you know, FPV racing is so intense for the pilots. But for people watching, if you can't actually see the drone, you don't have a set of goggles, you know, because they're pretty expensive, it can kind of look a bit weird just seeing these tiny little things fly around. So I think those bigger classes, absolutely. And think of like, what are they, like the Red Bull Air Wings or whatever it is, those planes that race around. Look how awesome they are. Look how many people they get turning out. And that's because you can see them as a spectator. So I think for our sport to grow, to become a little bit more mainstream, there's definitely going to be some of those bigger racing crafts going around. And I can't wait to see them because I love all things FPV. This one from Christian Longobardi. Worst drone injuries. I've actually been pretty lucky, I think, with drone injuries. And I think the worst one that I've had, it was a prop. But no battery was in. It was like this hectic storm. It was absolutely crazy. And I was like, check out how fast this prop was spinning. And I don't know if it was a cyclone prop or something, but it just happened to nick me in the fingernail and it cut straight down sort of in the fingernail, even though there was no battery. And it really hurt. So that's probably my worst injury. I sort of cut through, slicing it down into my fingernail. But right in the middle too. It didn't left the top was fine, just had a little cut in the middle. So that took a while to heal up actually. That was quite sore. Odin FPV. There are lots of good props out there today, 5-inch in general. What's your thought about the best on today's market? The DYS 5040, Dals, Gemfans, Racecrafts. I'm going to say I think the Racecrafts are pretty cool. I like the Cyclones, and look, there's going to be a lot of debate about this, and a lot of people are probably going to blow up in the comments, and my opinion is, look, props are really important, but the percentage differences is far outweighed by pilot skill level. So look, there's some old dodgy props from a couple of years ago, but I think any of those props any of the new props do a really good job at sort of flying around. It also depends on your flying, like acro, straight line, corner speed, a whole bunch of things. So there are some slight differences, I'm going to say within 10-15%. But other than that, I would say most props generally, if they're well balanced and durable, fly similar. So it doesn't matter if you're rocking Racecrafts or Cyclones or something like that. You're still going to be able to have a quad that flies really, really well. And just find the one that's right for you. You know, I'm not about sticking to one brand or anything like that. Just find the right one that works for you. Buy enough so you don't have like 10 pairs of different types of props. Just sort of invest in one set for a little while and go, or one type of prop and go through all those. And then, you know, you might want to try something else and, you know, get a few sets and then get those same sets again if you find that it's working. But a really good question, so thanks so much for asking that, Odin. Shane Biner, love the videos and congrats on becoming a father. Thanks so much. Also saw a funny comment too. Someone's like, I can see the grey hair already. Anyway, just curious as why not any reviews of 6-inch? I just noticed your wall is 5-inch and smaller. You know, you're absolutely right, Shane. I think I do want to review some 6-inches. They're not my favourite quad. I know the Helix is a 6-inch quad somewhere up here. And I've got like the Leopard, which I want to have a look at as well. The LX6 that I'll probably build 6-inch. But I think for me, 5-inch is my favourite style. So that's why you see so many 5-inch quads on my wall. But I will be checking out some 6-inches in the future. This one from Aluwuk. Hi Stu, I love your channel and watch every single clip. I can't wait for more to come. Well, thanks so much, man. That really means a lot to me because I love making these videos and that's exactly what it's for. So thanks very much. literally every time after flying, I need to do some repairs on my quad. Is this normal, or am I such a bad pilot, or is it all about build quality? I built mine myself. Thanks and congrats on becoming a father. Thanks very much. I would say sometimes, yeah, every time I go out, I usually come home with something to repair. It doesn't, those things talking about build quality, component quality, and being a better pilot, if you can increase all those things, it definitely increases your chances of your quad surviving. You know, if you're a better pilot, you're not crashing. If you've got better components, they're probably a little bit more structurally sound, and if your build quality is a bit better, you're probably going to be held up a little bit better in crashes. But overall, look, I know a lot of times we'll go out and we're flying around and we'll come home with like 3 or 4 broken quads. I know a guy I fly around with, Pezzy D, he crashes all the time, and you know, he's a pretty good builder and a pretty good pilot, but he always goes home with like 3 broken quads because he just pushes it that hard. So I would say, don't worry, that is part of the hobby. If you're pushing yourself and, you know, really trying to push those skills and doing some crazy stuff, you're going to break stuff a fair bit. But when you look at the abuse we give these things, they are amazingly robust because, you know, sometimes you can just get a little bit unlucky as well. I break a lot of props and that sort of stuff, but they do hold up fairly well. But over a massive day of flying, I probably am going to break something. Alright, so Evlon Lati, Stu, what's the realistic way to know the right battery C rate for your quad? High C rate batteries are usually more expensive, and probably we don't use all that discharge power. You know what, I'm gonna say, yeah, those high C rating batteries are more expensive, but I'm on the opposite end of that opinion where I think we need more C. Like, the batteries we have can't actually deliver enough amps to pump out what these current new high-tech motors are actually drawing in. So we are absolutely smashing our battery C ratings. We're absolutely at the limit of what those batteries can give. So I would say if you can afford it, get your reputable, best brand LiPo that, you know, you do a bit of research and that people are really happy with. And you need to get the highest C rating that you can afford, especially if you've got some powerful motors. I'm looking down here because I have a big like mess of LiPos sitting unsafely on the floor. At least it's in a fireplace. But yeah, I would say absolutely we are reaching the limits of what these batteries can pump out. And you know, battery tech is something that the whole world is struggling with, not just our industry. Everybody wants better batteries. Justin Copeland, hi Stu, I was wondering if you've ever felt the need to soft mount the flight controller or motors in any of your builds. Not really, but in saying that, Trevor's been sort of raving on about it. I've got the 3D owl at his house, and thanks so much to Calvin because he printed out me some little 3D little mounts right here that we're going to be putting on that. And Trevor seems to really think it makes a difference. So I haven't had any issues with it, and his quad does look super smooth at the moment. So what I might be doing, I might be checking it out, just throwing it on some builds. I don't think it's necessary, but if it is super smooth and it does make a difference, I'll probably start to do it. I'm really happy with how my like Chameleon's flying and my Cerberus, which is absolutely flying awesome as well. But overall, I would say, look, I've never had to do it, but I do think if it makes a difference for you, definitely go out and try it. Rob Higabotham. Okay, Rob, thank you and congrats on your new addition to your family. My daughter changed my life. Oh, that wasn't the question. I think I meant to screenshot the one below that. Two-stroke me. Can any quad flight controller be programmed to have self-level mode? Pretty much any of the flight controllers that we're using, yes, it can. You can have that. It's called like Horizon mode, or what's the other one? I rarely use them, but I recommend just jump into acro straight away and fly that around, because acro for FPV racing is where it's all at. It used to be called rate mode, but now I think we just call it acro mode. Mikkel Reben, question, I'm having vibration issues. Why am I still holding these? I'm having vibration issues with my Wizard. Any recommendations? So I'm going to answer this question for anybody. So any craft that you had, this would be the process that I would go through to reduce my vibration. So number one, a whole new set of props. Put brand new props on there, see how it goes. Number two, reset those PIDs to default in beta flight and see how that goes. Number three, I would check the sensor inside my camera, because sometimes that can come loose, and what you'll need to do is take it apart, put a small piece of foam in there, and then push the back plate back on and screw it down, and that will hold the sensor in place, because that's probably my main three, and that camera one can be really tricky. So if you're having vibration issues and no matter what you're doing you can't figure it out, there's a good little tip. And you can really tell that if your FPV footage looks all jumpy, but your HD footage looks nice and crystal clear, that's a really good tip to know that, yeah, okay, I probably have a loose sensor. So props, what did I say? Props. We've got the sensor, and then also baby brain. Oh, and probably PIDs. Props, sensors, PIDs, and also recalibrate your gyro. That might help as well. June Woo. Hi Stu, I'm loving your channel. Really good content. Thanks so much. I'm glad you appreciate it. One quick question though, is there any way to have longer flight times, or 3 to 4 minutes is just how it's going to be? Unfortunately, this is just how it's going to be when it comes to this style of racing, when you're really pushing it around. Like, I think I've got a video, it's called Flat in 70 Seconds, and that's like a 1,500 milliamp battery, totally drained in like a minute and 10 seconds. So if you're getting 3 or 4 minutes, that's pretty good for a high performance racer. The only way to increase flight times is to put a larger battery on and reduce the actual weight of your craft, and maybe have some bigger props as well. But I'd say, you know, those things, the more you do that, the more it takes away from what these actual FPV racers are like. You might build some long distance efficiency quad or something like that, but it's never going to be the same. It's not going to have the same flight characteristics as some of these bad boys. And it's also not as simple as sticking a bigger battery on there, because that battery, even though it's got more juice, actually weighs something. It's actually going to be weighing a little bit more. So it's sort of some diminishing returns right there with a bigger battery as well. So yeah, I would say build your quad lighter and put on a bit of a bigger battery, and maybe try some bigger props, more efficient props on slower motors if you want to really go after those flight times. But, you know, it is going to move away from our traditional 5-inch like F1 racer sort of kind of thing. F1 is in like F1 car. Anyway. Oh, that was actually the last question. So, a little short Q&A today. Definitely drop some questions down below, some comments. Let me know, what do you want me to answer next time? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Check out all those links below to, like, I think Ruben, that guy doing some vlogs. I think he does some cool stuff and makes me laugh. Check out Grumpy Trev's link. Whatever I talked about, I'll link it down below. Drop some comments. Subscribe for more FPV related content. And as always, happy flying. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and check out these videos. And I'm also going to leave a little link here to my Patreon page, because I've got some fantastic Patreon supporters and I like to give back to them as well. So if you want to join the UAVfutures family, there's things like bonus Velcro straps, little bundles of FPV goodies and things like that that also get sent out. Anyway, happy flying.